All right, let's talk about something that pretty much every parent deals with. We're going to dig into how one of the most common things we say to our kids might actually be holding them back. It's a simple little idea, but wow, the consequences are huge. So let's just get right into it with a pretty direct question. What if I told you that with the best of intentions, your words of encouragement could actually be teaching your child to be afraid of failure? I know, it sounds completely backward, but the science behind it is just fascinating. And hey, if you're feeling a little bit called out right now, you are definitely not alone. A whopping 87% of parents make this exact same totally well-intentioned mistake. It's basically a universal habit. And here it is. This is the phrase. 4 little words. You're so smart. We think it builds confidence, but what researchers have found is that it can actually create a ton of anxiety. So how can something that sounds so positive be so problematic? Let's break it down. This brings us to what psychologists call the praise paradox. We're going to look at the incredible research that figured out why praising something a child is born with, like their intelligence, can completely backfire. So a lot of this comes from the work of Professor Carol Dweck. See, when we tell a kid they're smart, we're basically tying their identity to getting things right without trying. So what happens when they face a real challenge? Suddenly, the risk isn't just about failing a math problem, it's about failing to be smart. And for a lot of kids, that's just not a risk they're willing to take. Okay, so this all boils down to 2 fundamental ideas, the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. And really, understanding the difference between these two is the absolute key to unlocking your kids' resilience and their love of learning. So here it is, laid out plain and simple. Think of it like 2 different paths. On one side, you've got the fixed mindset. That's the belief that your talents are just set in stone. You either have it or you don't. But on the other side, you've got the growth mindset. That's the belief that you can build your abilities with hard work and dedication. One mindset makes you avoid challenges, the other makes you run towards them. And you can see right here how much our language, the actual words we use, shapes that thinking. Saying you're brilliant, that praises a fixed thing. But look at the other options. They praise the process. Your hard work paid off. Or, wow, I love how you kept trying different ways to solve that. See the difference? Those phrases are all about things the child can actually control. Okay, so we get the problem. Now, what do we do about it? This next part is all about the real, practical strategies you can use to nurture that natural curiosity and, yes, genius that every single kid is born with. I absolutely love this quote because it just changes how you see everything. Your kid isn't just making a mess. They're experimenting. They're testing gravity every time they drop a spoon off the high chair. They're exploring physics when they stack blocks. They come into this world as fearless little explorers. Our job is just to not get in their way. So how do we support them without just taking over? Well, we want to operate in what's called the zone of development. This is that sweet spot, that magical space where a task is just hard enough to keep them hooked, but not so hard that they just give up. It's right there, in that zone, that the real learning kicks in. And finding that zone really comes down to these 3 things. First, follow their lead. Just see what they're already into. Second, become their support system. This is key. You don't solve the puzzle for them. You just hold the box steady so they can. You're removing little roadblocks, not doing the work for them. And third, you turn frustration into fuel. You know, this might be the biggest shift we have to make. Our gut instinct is to swoop in and rescue our kids from frustration. But what if we saw that feeling of frustration as a good sign? It's literally a signal that their brain is working hard, building new connections. It's the feeling of leveling up. We've got to teach them to love that feeling. All right, now for the super practical part. Let's build your new toolkit. We're talking specific phrases, specific actions you can start using the minute this is over. The whole goal here is to replace "you're so smart" with something that actually means something. And notice how all of these focus on the process. They praise the strategy. I love how you tried different approaches. They point out creativity. That's a really creative solution to that problem. And they celebrate just sticking with it. Your hard work is really paying off. And here's a real game changer. Model this stuff yourself. Let your kids see you struggle with something. Say things like, "Oops, I totally put this piece of furniture together wrong. Can you help me figure it out?" It completely removes the pressure to be perfect. It shows them that learning is this fun, lifelong adventure that you're on together. Okay, so let's make this super simple. Here's a little action plan for this week. 1, just try to consciously swap any praise for being smart with praise for trying hard. 2, when they get stuck, count to 60 in your head before you jump in. That 1 minute of struggle, that's where resilience is born. And 3, celebrate the weird, messy, outside-the-box solutions, because that's where innovation comes from. So why does all this matter so much, right here, right now? Let's zoom out a bit and connect these little daily habits to the kind of skills our kids are going to need to succeed in a world that is changing like crazy. Just think about this for a second. Computers and AI, they can follow instructions perfectly, they can calculate things way faster than we can, but the one thing they can't do is replicate that messy, unpredictable, beautiful spark of human creativity. And this is what you're actually building when you praise effort instead of intelligence. You are building the skills that will make your kids truly irreplaceable. Creative problem solving, resilience, independent thinking, the ability to see failure not as the end, but as just another piece of data on the path to figuring it out. I mean, these are the new survival skills. So let's end with this. The people who are really going to change the world, they aren't always the ones with the best test scores. They're the ones who never stop being curious, who aren't afraid to try and fail and try again, and who always ask, what if? That genius is already there inside them. Your job is just to protect it. So, how will you keep that question alive?